Hello and how is everyone doing today? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, if you're a returning viewer, I'm glad to have you back and welcome to another episode of Justin Talks Games. In the last episode, I talked about GOG situation, which I'm not going to get into here. If you want to know more about that, go watch that old video. All I'm going to say is that people are jumping on Capcom's back, and it's not right. People are taking what the guy at GOG said as truth instantly. It's kind of stupid, to be honest. But that's all I'm going to say about that. And I also talked about Code Veronica and my realistic thoughts on a remake if it gets remade. Excuse me. Today, I want to talk about Resident Evil 0 and my thoughts on that, because apparently that's being remade too. Yes, I'm rolling my eyes because it's ridiculous. It seems like whenever somebody wants a game remade, they claim they saw a leak about it, and now it's coming out in 2027, 28. Oh my god. So annoying. If I'm coughing and stuff like that and clearing my throat, it's because, like I said in the last video, trying to get over a cold, slowly getting there. Lots of cough still, really annoying, but that's why. So let's get into Resident Evil 0. Grab your drinks, grab your snacks, and let's get into this. Okay, so Resident Evil 0. One of my favorite Resident Evil 0 games, alongside Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil Code Veronica. And by Resident Evil 2, I mean the original. 0 has... It's kind of unique. It's very familiar, but it's very unique in its own right. It still has the same kind of, menu. Still similar gameplay. You have your puzzles, your zombies, and this and that. But you also have two gameplay mechanics that were added that were not in any other Resident Evil game, again, until Resident Evil 5. Of course, what I'm talking about is the no item box and the partner system. These were unique to 0. That was released in 2002. And these features didn't happen again up until 2009 in Resident Evil 5. A lot of people did not like not having an item box. For my personal opinion, as well as many others, I don't want to say it's 50-50. There's more people who like 0 than there are people who dislike 0. But the ones who dislike 0 are a loud minority, unfortunately. But a lot of us original players love 0. Personally, I thought not having an item box was interesting and also could be helpful in some situations. If you think about it, when you're playing the games, what are you driven to do? You pick up an item, and what do you want to do? Most people want to instantly run back to the box and put that item in the box. With 0, you can't do that because there is no box. So say you have, actually, what's a good example? A good example of this is the 3 tablets that you need, excuse me, to get to the church later on. In order to do that, you need to, you need the tablets. So, there's no item box. So what you can do is you can take the 1 or 2 tablets, say you get 2 tablets, you can take them all the way up to where you need to go. Bloop, you can drop them on the floor in front of the door. You grab the 3rd one, you go back, pick up the other 2, you have the 3, boom, done. Whereas if you had the item box, you'd have to go all the way to the item box, first grab the stuff, and then go all the way to the place and do it. The item box creates a unnecessary stop. And it's very useful as well, because you can make your own little hubs, right? Your own areas, right? So, example, I like using the main hall for, I put my health in one area, I put my ammo and guns in another area. The hook shot goes in the back corner. You can set it up. You can set areas up as hubs, and it makes it so much easier. Which I thought that was really cool. That's one of the things I like about Zero. It makes you think too, because again, you don't have any item box. Say you pick up something and you're like, oh crap, I have no room for this item. Do I really need this item? Example, you find grenade launcher rounds, regular grenade, not fire, not acid, regular grenade launcher rounds, and you're like, oh man, I have a box of handgun ammo. I have, like, I don't know, let's say 65 handgun bullets right now. And if I pick this grenade round, if I need these grenade rounds, I may have to drop these 65 handgun bullets for these 6 grenade rounds. Do I really need the grenade rounds? Right? It really makes you think, and I like that. In the reality of that situation, I would ignore the grenade rounds. That's just me. But yeah, like, it makes you think, and I like that. It's really cool. Again, if we go into the partner system, that's also really interesting too, because not only do you have extra slots because the other character can carry things, they also have things that they're not as good as, and things that they excel at as well. Example of this: Billy can slash the knife faster, but Rebecca can throw the fire bombs, the Molotovs. She can throw them faster. She can throw them faster. Billy throws them slower. The trade-off to her throwing that faster is that she takes more damage, right? Just Rebecca in general, she takes more damage, because she's faster at doing certain things. Billy, he can endure more damage, but he's slower at doing some things. I guess another example of this would be the hunting gun and the shotgun. Because he is stronger, he can fire them faster. And Rebecca, she fires them slower. Rebecca can make healing items, like she can combine herbs to make full heals. Billy cannot do that. So each character still has things that are good about them, right? So it's not like, oh well, I never use Rebecca, I never use Billy. They both have things that they excel at. So that's the thing. Now, if we go into the things, like if they were to remake it, I think that they would change that. I think that they would make it where both characters can mix herbs, which kind of, in my opinion, a lot of people will be like, oh, finally they can do that. My opinion, I would be like, man, that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks, because now it's like, I don't have a reason. Example, like, oh man, now I don't have a reason to use Rebecca, because Billy can mix and match and he can do everything, so I don't need to use Rebecca now. Just stuff like that, right? I think, excuse me, I think that they would change some things in the training facility as well. I think they would maybe change the outside, so you wouldn't use the elevator maybe outside. Maybe they would make it where everything's inside, and kind of make it like Resident Evil 2 in a way, whereas you finish everything in one area, and then you move to the next area. Kind of like what I said about Code Veronica. Code Veronica it's that game is all over the place, and I like that about Veronica, because that's pretty unique too. But anyways, I think they would streamline it, like they did with Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4, right? Where each area, so you got your training facility, and then you have your guardhouse area, and then you have your whatever it's called, yeah, I don't know. I think they would change it up a little bit. Um, if there is one thing that I would be okay with them removing. Now, usually, like I said, as you guys know, I'm not a fan of removing things and like deeply changing things. If there's one thing that I would be okay with, it would still suck that it's not there, but it wouldn't ultimately bother me too much. Would probably be if they took out um, the marshalling yard. It was really cool that it was in the original Zero. I thought it was a really cool throwback. I really liked that. Um, but it was weird that it was there. Even at that time, it was kind of odd that it was there. Because geography wise, it didn't really make sense that the training facility, um, I can't even think properly right or talk properly right now. It didn't really make sense that the the training facility, the water treatment plant, and they were all connected to the Raccoon City lab. Like to me, that didn't make sense. A lot of people, a lot of people call the elevator behind the burning train in Zero. They call it the magic elevator, and it's so true, because it almost like it takes you to places where it doesn't make sense. Like a good example of this is you take the tram car, the whatever you call it, the cable car. I couldn't think of the word. You take the cable car after doing the lab under the church, and you take the cable car. It takes you to the entrance area to the umbrella labs under the Raccoon City. Now, could that be possible? Yes, I could say that part could be possible because the tram car or the cable car, whatever, when you get in it, when you pull the switch, and when you go, the screen goes black. So you don't know how long they were on there. So could it be possible that they're connected due to the tunnels and stuff? Yes, I could say yes that they are. and but it's how they connect them is kind of the issue a little bit, in my opinion. Again, I love Zero, so this isn't me hating on it, but it's just looking at it at a realistic kind of like geographical perspective, right? Um, so yes, the cable car could go to the Raccoon City lab, but so you do that. But the problem is though, you take an elevator, right? And you go down, or is it up? No, it's down. So you take the elevator, you're on the third floor, and you go down to the fourth floor, right? And it's this big, like warehouse type elevator. It's like really, really big. And you go down to the fourth floor, and now you're in like a whole other area. um, that's not even in the city limits or anything like that at all. It's this water treatment plant, and it's really far off. But if you take the elevator to the second floor, you go up, and you end up to where you took took the cable car, like where you got off the cable car, um, to go to the lab. If you do the first floor, it takes you back to the training facility. That's like in Raccoon Forest. It's in the mountains. So the elevator doesn't make sense. Um, so like everybody in the community calls it the magic elevator because it's just like, okay, we're here now. We'll take the elevator, and it's like, dude, now we're way over here, and now we're over here, and we're way over there, and now we're way down there. Like it just geographically, it's almost like the Wonkavator, right? It can go up ways and sideways and this way. So silly, so silly. But I mean, it's another thing that makes 0-0, right? It's such a wonderful game. I love it. I still remember when I first saw the marshalling yard and when I first went down that elevator, like the train elevator, um, and I saw the entrance to the lab. I was like, wow, man, if they remake Resident Evil 2, this would be absolutely insane. It would look this, wow. And it's so sad that we didn't get a remake of 2 on the GameCube. I think that would have been amazing. It would have been very, very good. So every time I play Zero and I see that part, it's kind of like, oh man, it's kind of sad a little bit. Um, so yeah, I got the magic elevator. I think that's something that they would definitely change. I think once you go to the lab, um, you definitely would not be able to go back to the training facility again. So that's one change. I still laugh at it now. um, so that's one change that ultimately wouldn't bother me. Um, I mean, if they kept it, that'd be cool. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if they were to change that, that would be one change that would make sense, and I wouldn't complain too much. The one complaint I would have, if they do remake it, is if they take and make another lab, a third lab, and they call it Nest 3, and they were to use assets again from the Resident Evil 2 and the 3 remake. That I would definitely complain about. Because even then, Zero had its own, not art style, but its own aesthetic, or however you say it. Zero had its own identity. And I would hate for them to change that. But I think that's something else that they would do too. I think that they would make it where it looks the same as the other two. That's another complaint I have about Resident Evil 3, but let's not get into that today. Yeah. All in all, it would be interesting to see Zero in the third person, but I don't think it would be ultimately better. I think objectively, the way how Zero is now, I think it's better. I think if they were to remake it, like I said, I think they would change a lot of things. They would add an item box. They may or may not have the 2 players. If they do, they might make it split screen or online, and I don't care for any of that stuff. I really would not want them to make it multiplayer or 2-player, whatever. I really don't like my Resident Evil games. I like Resident Evil single player. That's just me. To me, making a 2-player kind of ruins it in a way. I mean, I've had some really fun times playing Resident Evil 5 and begrudgingly playing Resident Evil 6 with a very good friend of mine, So I've had good times playing those games with friends. But overall, I feel like Resident Evil as a whole should be single player. So that's one other thing I would hope that they would keep it. I hope they would keep it single player and almost have it like how Resident Evil 4 did it. The remake of 4 did it with how Lewis followed Leon for a little bit. I hope they would do that. But I'm not too sure what else to say because at this point I'm almost 20 minutes in and I feel like I'm kind of rambling. If my conversation here has been any type of coherent talking, let me know because I've just been talking and whatever. Like I said, I'm kind of all over because, I'm kind of sick right now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very, very, very on the fence for a Zero remake. Just because of how, just blah, blah, blah. Because of how good it is right now already. I don't think that they could top the atmosphere and then the feeling that Zero gives when you play it. I don't think they could top that. I think it would become kind of generic like Resident Evil 2 remake. Not saying Resident Evil 2 remake is generic. I love the way how 2 remake plays, of course. But I think if they were to do it that way, I think it would just feel like you're playing Resident Evil 2 again. Excuse me. Same with Code Veronica. I don't know. But I'm going to leave this here. Excuse me. Starting to cough a little bit more too. I'm going to leave this here because I feel like I'm kind of starting to ramble. I'm kind of starting to trip over my words because, again, can't talk properly today. But give me your thoughts and your opinions on a potential Resident Evil 0 remake. Yeah, and let me know what you guys think. And I know I just said that already. Oh my god, I can't even talk today. Maybe I'll do some more of these to talk about potential remakes. I've seen a lot of people talk about Resident Evil 5. Oh, they're gonna do Resident Evil 5. Maybe I'll do a video on Resident Evil 5. You know, just talk about what they could do, what they shouldn't do. Just hypothetical fun stuff, you know. And yeah, maybe I'll do some more of these videos. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun kind of stuff. And I will see you guys in my next video. Until then, have a wonderful day.